What up, people? It's your boy. I'm out on the remote, so I do apologize in the noise in the background. Your boy's mad busy. Like I said, I'm on remote, but I wanted to cover this topic about Draymond Green. Draymond Green is back from his suspension. He had a lot of stuff to say, coming off of his suspension. He talked about how he was thinking about retiring from the NBA. Now, I don't know if that was motivated due to the fact of the suspension itself, or it's the fact that, Draymond Green just signed a media deal with the Volume, and his podcast is doing phenomenal. He still has that contract with Turner, so when he does finally retires from the NBA, he has a sports media career on the horizon, similar to what Jalen Rose did. Jalen Rose was playing in the NBA, but he was also, homing his media skills because he knew he has to have a life outside of the NBA when it's long said and done. But, Draymond Green is doing phenomenal things in the media circuit. But, yeah, he talked about how he was, possibly thinking about retiring. And if it wasn't for the commissioner, sat him down and said, I think you're, making this decision. I wasn't in the room, but basically when people, do something super quick, they're not using logic. They're using their emotions, how they feel at that time. And sometimes people make decisions for all the wrong reasons. And sometimes people make decisions on how they're feeling at that moment instead of just processing what they actually want to do. So shout out to the commissioner. I don't think the commissioner gets a lot of props in this for, reeling Draymond Green back in. Like, hey, look, won't you just think about this before you actually, go through with it. And so shout out to the commissioner. Shout out to Draymond Green. Because in this article, he also talked about how, when he was on suspension, he was thinking about a lot of stuff that he has done, particularly what he got suspended for. And he realizes that he made a mistake. Now, I'm not going to go into, to his point of view, he felt like he failed miserably on that perspective. And that's not what we get from Draymond Green, all right? Now, I'm going to give Draymond Green his props and flowers. I think Draymond Green is an excellent NBA player. He's going to have a phenomenal career when it's all said and done. He's an NBA champion. He has done a lot of things inside and off of the court, okay? Great in the media circuit. He's going to flourish in the media circuit when it's all said and done. All right. I'm not going to compare him to people that, like a Stephen A. Smith or Charles Barkley, but I feel like Draymond Green is going to be in that circle, as well as Shannon Sharp. But this is a side of Draymond Green we rarely hear from him when he takes accountability. Like he felt miserably with accountability with that incident with Poole. He felt miserably when he didn't want to take responsibility on the Kevin Durant thing. He let that lingered. And when, people were, not agreeing with his first statement, then he kind of backtracked what he said. Okay. But this is the first time where Draymond Green, in my humble opinion, took accountability and responsibility quickly. This is the fastest I ever seen him do it. All right. So I think him being away from the game, away from all the distractions, I think Draymond Green had a clear thought and a clear process and a clear mind and said, hey, look, I can't say a bunch of people put me in this position where I'm at right now. I can't say an entity put me in this negative light. I have to hold myself accountable for where I'm at right now. And I think, That's the first time I ever seen Draymond Green quickly take responsibility for it. I think, and I've said this in numerous videos, every year goes by, it just, Draymond Green's outside the Draymond Green when he was prime Draymond Green. And I always called this about Draymond Green, and I got a lot of slack for it. I always thought Draymond Green was the poor man version of LeBron James. He can do everything what LeBron James can do, but in moderation and not at no huge incline or up click like LeBron James when he was in his prime. He's not the greatest scorer, but he can score just enough to be somewhat of a threat. He's not the tallest, but he's going to get the rebound. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to defend. Okay, he's the rah-rah guy. He's the guy that's going to get in everyone's ear and make everyone be held accountable for their actions. He's that guy when he was in his prime. I feel like over the years, Draymond Green is he's not at that click no more. He's not at that prime. And he's relying on trying to be a bully, with threats and push and, all these tactics that he's been using. And he's been using it, and he's been getting away with it for the past 3 or 4 years. All right, let's not get it twisted and confused. I just think all this stuff added up, built up, and now, the NBA has to step in, and the commissioner has to step in and say, okay, enough is enough. And I think that's the real reason why he's taking this mode, because it's the only card he can choose. Draymond Green is, today's Draymond Green isn't yesterday's Draymond Green. Okay, he was an offensive liability when he was in his prime. Remember what people would say about Draymond Green? And if you look at Draymond Green now, he's not even a threat. Teams are literally daring him to shoot the ball. Okay, so teams are saying, okay, even if he does hit this basket, he's not much of a threat where we're going to have a defender always in his face. He's not, when he would get away with, as far as getting rebounds, when he was in his prime, rebounds wasn't a glamorous thing. Nobody didn't even care about rebounds. Now you got these 3, 4s, and 5s that can, guard the perimeter as well as shoot around the perimeter. They'll take those rebounds, and sometimes they'll take them away from Draymond Green. Okay. I think the stuff that made Draymond Green great, he can't utilize those things anymore. And I think a large portion of it is because of his age. Draymond Green, and a lot of people say, oh, well, he's in his 30s. Okay, you make it sound like he's in his 50s. Okay, I mean, guys, the advancement of medicine and technology and society, these guys can do just as much, can do the same thing what Draymond Green can do, but at a larger click. Plus, they can do other things that Draymond Green can't do. And it's just the bottom line. But still, I think Draymond Green's a hell of a competitor. I'm not taking anything away from him. It is what it is. And on top of this, the Golden State Warriors paid him this big contract. They paid him this big, huge contract. And I just don't see anyone any organization that wants to trade for Draymond Green. Because of Draymond, the skill level that you're going to get out of Draymond Green, and you have to pay this man like he's one of those top players, and he never was. He can do many things, but I mean, he earned that contract. But it's going to a lot of teams are not going to trade for Draymond Green, meaning it would not surprise me none. And I'm not saying it's going to happen this year or next year, but don't be surprised if you hear rumors and rumblings of the Golden State Warriors maybe just tell him to stay home and make his money, and they're going to try to work out a buyout and just buy him out. Okay, I just think that's what's on the horizon for a Draymond Green. But that still doesn't take away that he's an accomplished player. He has all the accolades. He has world titles. He's doing phenomenal in the media circuit. He's going to have a phenomenal podcast. And he's going to do extraordinary things when he gets outside, when he's done playing basketball. Turner already got him locked in. Do not be surprised if when that contract runs out, ESPN don't send a boatload of money for a Draymond Green. I mean, if you look at what Inside the NBA is doing with Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith. Okay, if you look at that tandem right there, there's not a tandem out there that can compete with that. And ESPN has been trying to compete with that with their NBA coverage when they had Jalen Rose, Stephen A. Smith, and Michael Wilbon, and occasionally had Irvin Magic Johnson. But even that tandem was not good enough to dethrone the Inside NBA tandem. All right? Do not be surprised if ESPN comes swooping in, gives him a boatload of money. Also, do not be surprised if you, and I'm calling it, if you see Shannon Sharp, Draymond Green, and, someone else doing the NBA coverage. If you look at what Shannon Sharp has been doing, it seems like Shannon Sharp is getting those numbers. I mean, at one point he was like that Cat Williams interview has put Shannon Sharp in a totally different stratosphere. This has nothing to do with Shannon Sharp. It has more to do with Draymond Green. I just think Draymond Green's future in media is going to be phenomenal. Okay, but if you look at Draymond Green as the player, I mean, he's a shell of himself. He's not that same guy anymore. And, it is what it is. But, guys, that's all I got in this video. Guys, comment below, rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys on the flip side of things. Deuces.